What the Ashes urn lacks in size it certainly makes up for in significance as England and Australia prepare to lock horns and resume of one of sport's greatest rivalries. The 11 cm tall terracotta ornament has become the symbol of the Ashes series, though the original remains safely locked away in the Lord's Museum and the victorious team celebrates with a replica. But how did the urn originate and where did the Ashes name come from? All is explained here. England and Australia are set to compete once again for the famous Ashes urn this winter. Steve Smith, left, and Joe Root, the captains of Australia and England, with the replica. Related articles previous. 1 Next. England must adapt quickly to quirks of the Kookaburra ball. England name team to take on Australia in Ashes opener as. Stuart Broad reveals tools of fast bowling trade as England. England hold their final nets session at the Gabba ahead of. Share this article. Share. 19 shares script dm.later, bundle, function, if, dm.rotator, new dm.rotator, p22, page size, 1, page count, 1.0, active class, active, rotate, false, dollar, number p22.share, .on, click, function, dms.facebook.post top, related. A low point for English cricket. On August 29, 1882 the Australian cricket team won a match on English soil for the first time. It could hardly be described as a series, since only one match was played at the Kennington Oval and it lasted just 2 days. Nonetheless, Australia's slender victory by 7 runs was an indignity for W.G. Grace and his English team, and the press sharpened their pencils to reflect the gloomy national mood at the news. The satirical journalist Reginald Shirley Brooks wrote a mock obituary notice in the Sporting Times, which read, "In affectionate remembrance of English cricket which died at the Oval on August 20, 1882. Deeply lamented by a large circle of sorrowing friends and acquaintances. Rib. N.B. The body will be cremated and the ashes taken to Australia." It wasn't by any means the only obituary to the English national game printed at that time. There was a very similar piece in Cricket magazine, but the mention of Ashes meant Brooks' article gained fame. It was the first time the word had been mentioned in connection with this cricketing rivalry. The mock obituary published in the Sporting Times after England's loss to Australia in 1882. The mission to restore pride. England were already scheduled to travel to Australia in the winter of 1882-83, and so the chance to gain revenge came around very swiftly. Captain Ivo Bligh, before stepping on board the ship for the long voyage down under, made reference to the obituary and bringing back the ashes of English cricket. 3 test matches were played and England won the series 2-1, restoring the pride lost at the Oval. In addition, the touring team played a number of social matches, including one against the Rupert's Wood estate outside Melbourne on Christmas Eve in 1882. After the match, an urn was presented to Bligh by Lady Janet Clark in the spirit of a joke. It is thought the urn could actually be a perfume bottle, with the ashes of a burnt cricket bale from the 1882 game tipped inside. The England team for the tour of Australia in 1882-83, with Ivo Bligh third from left in the middle row. Standing William Barnes, Fred Morley, C.T. Studd, G.F. Vernon, C.F.H. Leslie. Middle row seated C.B. Studd, E.F.S. Tilecote, Hahn, Ivo Bligh, A.G. Steele, W.W. Reid. Seated in front R.G. Barlow, W. Bates. At the end of the tour in late March, the urn resurfaced and was presented once again to Bligh, this time in a velvet bag and with 2 labels pasted on it. The top label simply says "The Ashes," while the bottom label is a verse cut out of the Melbourne Punch magazine of February 1, 1883. It reads, "When Ivo goes back with the urn, Studs, Steele, Reid and Tilecote return, the welkin will ring loud, the great crowd will feel proud, seeing Barlow and Bates with the urn, and the rest coming home with the urn." The names refer to members of the England team on the tour. A picture of the original Ashes urn, said to contain the burnt bales of a cricket game. Bligh's perfect match. As well as this object and the restoration of English cricketing pride, Bligh returned from Australia with something else. At the Christmas Eve match, he met Lady Clark's companion and music teacher Florence Morphy, who would later become his wife. They became engaged shortly before the end of the tour, and Bligh returned to Australia in February 1884, where he married Florence in Sunbury, a town near Melbourne. The couple flitted between their two countries until 1900, when Bligh became Earl of Darnley following the death of his brother and inherited Cobham Hall, near Rochester in Kent. England captain Bligh was introduced to Miss Florence Morphy during the 1882–83 tour. Florence Morphy in later life as wife of the 8th Earl Darnley, a title inherited by Bligh in 1900. An ornament on the mantelpiece. Bligh always considered the urn as a personal gift rather than a sporting trophy, and so it sat on the mantelpiece at Cobham Hall until he died in 1927. At his request, Florence bequeathed the urn to the Marylebone Cricket Club, MCC, and it sat in their famous Long Room at Lord's until 1953, when it was transferred to the Grounds Museum. The original urn has only left Lord's for Australia twice since the MCC inherited it back in 1929. Shane Warne and Ricky Ponting inspect the original urn on its last visit to Australia in 2006. Symbol of the Ashes. Over the years, the urn became the symbol of cricket matches between England and Australia, which acquired the Ashes tag. In recent times, a replica urn has been used in celebrations at the end of the Ashes series, as well as an urn-shaped Waterford Crystal Trophy introduced during the 1998–99 series. The original is increasingly delicate and has only returned to Australia on 2 occasions since entering the MCC's possession in 1929. One was for the bicentenary Test match in Sydney in 1988, and the other was in 2006 for a tour of Ashes exhibitions in each state capital of Australia. Its home remains the Lord's Museum, though quite a few Australians believe it should be transported there whenever they are the winners of the series. England captain Alastair Cook holds the Ashes urn aloft after their victory in the 2015 series. David Warner, the Australian captain, slept next to the replica of the urn after their 2013 win. A Waterford crystal replica of the Ashes urn is also presented to the victorious side. The crystal urn was first presented to Australia captain Mark Taylor in the 1998–99 series. Related articles previous. 1 Next. England must adapt quickly to quirks of the Kookaburra ball. England name team to take on Australia in Ashes opener as. Stuart Broad reveals tools of fast bowling trade as England. England hold their final nets session at the Gabba ahead of. Share this article. Share. 19 shares script dm.later, bundle, function, if, dm.rotator, new dm.rotator, p54, page size, 1, page count, 1.0, active class, active, rotate, false, dollar, number p54.share, .on, click, function, dms.facebook.post related.